paradox to me how you can take all of this time and effort on this piece of meat that costs you hundreds of dollars to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you serve a $2.59 bottle of sauce with it. Just weird, right? That's like
Mm-hmm.
it's putting low octane in your Ferrari. Why would you do that? Don't do that. Go artisanal. If you're spending all the time, go artisanal. You don't have to live and die by the sauce, but someone might like it. Same thing with the rubs on it.
Listen, learn, get inspired. I'm Tavis Bryant, and this is BBQ Therapy. Like, subscribe, and follow to help grow the barbecue therapy community. Also, visit my website at www.bbqtherapypodcast.com.
Bring 'em down, barbecue, your barbecue on. Get your barbecue on. Get your barbecue on.
Welcome to the BBQ Therapy Podcast. My name is Tavis Bryant, and some barbecue stories start with trophies, some start with competitions, and some start the way the best ones do. Around a backyard with family, curiosity, and a kid mixing sauces just to see what happens. Today's guest didn't chase trends or shortcuts. He chased flavor, inclusion, and connection. And along the way, he built something that helps people feel welcome at the table no matter what they eat. This is BBQ Therapy, and this is Brian Leigh of B.T. Lee's. Welcome to the show. I got one rule: make yourself at home, speak freely. I have no
I
sponsors.
will.
Say what you want.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
All right.
This is great.
No problem. All right. The first question I have is I do mine differently. So I read in your bio on your website that y'all were having, when you were growing up, having days long parties. What kind of parties were y'all having that last
Oh
several
man.
days?
So my dad was a legendary human being. It seems like everything he did to the 11s. Like he was out there. If he was working hard, he was working hard. If he was partying hard, if he was hosting a party, it would turn into this long, massive things. I remember as a little kid, I might have been like 4 years old or so, running around because we were locked out of the house. That was the one rule. You're not allowed in the house until you're ready for bed. So we were running around and they'd bring in a big spit, right? And then all of a sudden they're digging a hole in the ground and they're lining it with stainless steel and cast iron. And then they bring in a beer cooler, like a big kegerator with multiple kegs. And this is on a Wednesday. The party didn't start until Friday. And then it would roll all through the weekend. Softball games, volleyball games, just people having fun all over the place. Everyone would bring their favorite dish. But my father, Ed Lee, and his cousin, I think cousin Jerry Pfeiffer, they would bring in like whatever they had shot that year or anything like that. So there was one time when we had bear. There was one time when we had wild boar. There was one time when there's lots of venison, and they would just spit it, cook it, carve it, and there it is. Beer based, it's the whole thing.
That's wow.
It is wild. It's something. This was like 84. Like we didn't even know where we were at that point half the time, even at 5 years old. So
were people going home or they just staying there? Or
so I lived in a lake community that was very rural. So it was, I don't know, 50 houses. The entire lake would come to us. And then multiple other communities would end up in the same thing. I remember the front yard of our house was like a parking lot. It was like going to a football game. So I don't know if they left or not. I remember sleeping under tables. I remember a lot of things. So it was fun. It was a blast. But I didn't know any better.
All right. When you think about those backyard cookouts, what's the first sensory memory that hits you? Is it the smells, the sound, the chaos, or the sauce on your hands, stuff like that?
Oh, it's probably the chaos for sure. Like we just bodies. all over the place. The garage and the sunroom would just turn into a big buffet, and anything you could ever want at that point in time, just running around, people just eating all day. Just they had a dumpster for trash. They went all out.
So did your
It's a good
mom
time.
say anything about it, or was it just cool
She was
with
on
her?
board. She was
Oh,
on board. Matter of fact, after my father died, they kept the tradition going for a few years. They called it the Fat Eddie parties, is what they called it, and everyone just piled in. They did the exact same thing, but it always ended with a toast or started with a toast or something like that, and there it was. Yeah,
okay. And
and
you wouldn't watch it. Go ahead.
no, I was just—it's a wild thing for people to imagine, but sometimes it's surreal in my own mind.
'Cause when I read it on the website, I was like, "What kind of parties they have to last for days?"
Man, they did it. Do it to it.
Yeah, it seems cool, especially y'all get to try those type of animals and stuff that people normally don't get to try. So,
Hmm.
definitely a good experience. All right, let's talk about you on the cookouts. You wasn't watching the grill; you were experimenting. What did it feel like being a kid that's handing out sauces to adults that you didn't mix together?
You get a lot of no's. You get a lot. You get a lot of no's. You get a lot of why do that? No, I'm not going to try that. What did you put in there? Is that raisins? It just didn't work. But I did have a couple people that always tried whatever I put together, and we'd have Tabasco on the table. There'd be ketchup. There'd be mustard. There'd be sometimes a fun German mustard would be out there, mayonnaise, all the seasonings that you could think of, and I would just mix stuff and want to try this with a plate, and they'll be like, no, go away. Who are you? But I
Wow.
always had a couple uncles that were really in on it. They would do that. They would try anything I put in front of them. So
Being a kid is you don't know what you were putting together and
not at all. Not at all. I remember one time I made cookies at my friend's house across the street, and no supervision. There was no parents anywhere. I don't know what they were doing, but they were salsa cookies. So I whipped together chocolate chip cookies, but I added hot salsa to it, and we ate it. We were hungry.
wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you think you were born with that curiosity, or were you doing it just because you were bored? How did that come about?
No, I'm pretty sure I was born to do a certain set of things. Like I always took it too far. Like there's a lot of boundaries. If I saw a wall, I'd smash it. I'd try. And like, why does this wall exist? So that kind of morphed into flavor eventually.
Yeah, 'cause people got to remember back in the 80s, that was before video games and all this other stuff, and
Yeah,
a bunch of TV channels and all this stuff. You, like you said,
no,
you leave out in the morning, don't come back. You come out, you come in, you stay in. So
yeah, yep,
drink out the water
yep,
hose, whatever.
yeah. We would disappear into the woods for hours. There's 20 acres of woods.
Oh
We're
wow.
out there. Like it's the middle of nowhere, right next to a state park. Like we could get into
Oh.
a lot of trouble, and we did. It was fun.
That's what kids do. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, let's fast forward to 2012 with the new relationship, new grill, and the tech job. Why did you turn that regular grill into a smoker instead of just buying a smoker?
I just saw a stack, like it had a pipe on it. It was one of those like really small El Cheapo brink bins, right? Where
Mm.
it had didn't have a firebox at all, but it had like the kettle, not kettle, the barrel style deal with the smokestack coming off the side on it. And I don't know. I was just like, hey, I think I could put this into a smoker. The I think barbecue pitmasters was rolling at that point, or maybe it was shortly thereafter that.
Hmm.
And the first thing I did was I got a brisket flat, and I ruined that. But everyone at work loved it, and that kind of kicked it off. Honestly,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, I said everybody, whatever that people used to, that's what's good to them. They don't know what's good or bad because they used to
yeah,
having one thing. So If they're
Yeah.
used to having bad brisket, it's gonna be like, this is the greatest thing ever. And you like, really?
At that point, I don't really feel like in Northeast Ohio there were many places that were doing brisket, period, full stop. Like not Texas style smoked brisket. You could get like the baked brisket and Jewish delis and all that kind of stuff, but no smoked brisket that I can think of off the top of my head at that point.
Okay.
People knew ribs, people knew pulled pork, but not brisket. So I took that brisket and I burnt the shit out of it. It was charred. There was like, you had the creosote taste to it. I nuked this thing. I didn't know any better, but I shredded it and I put it into beef stock. And then I served it on top of bagels with cream cheese to my coworkers. And they were like, this is amazing. I just took it down a notch, and then it was always a thing. Cream cheese fixes a lot of stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cream cheese.
You pivot, right? Pivot.
That's a good idea. All right. So you started cooking for coworkers who really didn't cook for themselves. Did you feel like the barbecue guy, or did you just enjoy just cooking for the people?
I just enjoyed the process. I always loved cooking for people. I would always do Christmas mornings. I would cook the whole thing. I would do Thanksgiving. I'd do a lot of it. Easter, a lot of that kind of stuff. Sometimes I would just show up at people's houses with food and we're going to cook it. I like to consider myself the chief morale officer of where I worked. So I would always show up with things. Like it'd be donuts today, or maybe I went to Dunkin' Donuts and got a thing of coffee, or like during the Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve time at work where everyone else took off, I would come in with a griddle and we'd have French toast in the morning. So people started doing this tradition of doing French toast. That someone would bring bacon, someone would bring some eggs, and I would serve up the French toast. However I did it, there it is. So cooking for people was never really a problem for me. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Do something during Christmas. That's where the most people out, but they can brag on you.
That's true. That's true. We had it to the point where some people didn't take that day off because they knew that it was going to happen. So I consider that a win. If you're sacrificing your free time for me.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true. So when the co-workers started asking to buy your sauce, how did it feel as far as people wanting your stuff?
It was good. It felt good. I didn't know what I was doing at that point. I just threw everything together. I had no solid recipes. I was just all constant experimentation. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't really like chasing accolades or thanks or anything like that. Like I'm sure the dopamine hit was there, but I was like hyper fixated on what I was going to do. I was like, what am I going to cook this weekend? What am I going to do? Oh, turkey legs are on sale. Turkey thighs. Let's go get a bunch of turkey thighs and we'll smoke them up. And my wife, my ride or die, she lets me do all these crazy things. She was like, let's do it. All right. And it turned into like sign up sheets at work on Thursdays. And there was like, we democratized it. So whatever you voted for, you committed to, the poundage you committed to. So I knew what I had to do. And then like sauces started coming out. So I'm selling like a jar of Eastern Carolina style vinegar sauce for $2.50, which is not even covering the ingredients of it, but it was just fun to do. And yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Okay. And before we get into you handing them out as wedding favors, so what sparked the interest of you wanting to make sauce this season? Are you just doing it just to save money on doing it yourself, or not wanting to buy at the store, or?
That wasn't, I was always chasing better, right? Ultimately, I'm a person that tries to make things better. Leave it better than you found it. That's a philosophy, right? I was also kind of like in a perpetual weight loss cycle. We were trying to cut out like high fructose corn syrup and all that kind of stuff. And the alchemy of it was also a draw, like creating something from nothing and then breaking it down. So it's not just I'm adding ketchup, I'm making ketchup for it. I'm not just adding mustard, I'm making mustard. And then I'm putting the thing I made together with the other thing I made together and then adding X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden you got something sauce. Like it's that kind of thing was a big lure. I loved the experimentation. I not loved the creation process because you can get lost in it.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
nothing like having just a bunch of spice containers out and a stove and a whisk.
Yeah. It's your joy and it's relaxing and like therapy.
Yeah. 100%. 100% like therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And let's move up to so what gave you the idea to give him out as wedding favors at a wedding?
Oh, that's my wife. That's my wife, Jenny. That was her idea. She was like, okay. And we were bouncing back and forth on whether or not to even get married. Like I asked her once, she said no. I asked her again, she said no. And then she asked me one day and I said, and she was like, no. Like we were going back and forth. We knew that we were going to be there forever. It was never like we're two peas in a pot. We just didn't know if you wanted the paper or the entanglement or anything like that because we're not particularly religious. But we decided that we were going to get married, and she was doing like a Pinterest board on things like that, and she stumbled across this couple that did a surprise barbecue wedding, and she turned to me and she was like, that's it, that's what we're doing. I was like, all right, let's do it. So I low-key bought a second smoker. I had a Weber Smoky Mountain 22.5, and I ended up getting like one of those large smokestack barrel style ones with offset on the bottom, vertical smokers. And we're in an apartment complex at this point. I ended up smoking through the night for the wedding. I ended up pulling everything off at about 5 a.m. and then getting not ready, but there were 7 people that knew that we were having a wedding. We had 75 on the guest list, and we ended up with 75 eventually. Some people came in late. I said, hey, we're eating at 1 o'clock. I don't know if anything's going to be there by 1:10 or 1:15. They fall on it like vultures. So we rolled up, got this pavilion all set up, beautiful September day. And our friends started showing up, and they're in like their best concert tees, and they're playing bocce ball and all that kind of stuff. And 1 o'clock rolls around, and I stand up on a table and say, okay, everybody, food's almost done. Food's almost ready, but we're going to get married first. And just like dead silence. My mom didn't even know. She didn't even know. So we went to the restroom area there, got dressed, went back out, did the thing, which is really funny. We forgot to turn off the playlist while we were getting married. So in the background, there's like amazing blues music playing. Just all the people in the back are hearing our vows with Albert Collins and that kind of stuff. So it was fun. It was good. My niece and my nephew both missed it. Yeah, they didn't show up on time. They'll never not show up now. Never be late.
Exactly. All right. The something sauce became your first product. Why that recipe, and what made you get to the point where, okay, this is perfect. Now I can introduce it to the public.
Oh, that's a great question. In Cleveland, when I was doing this for my coworkers at the time and for friends and family, I had no recipes. I had vague ideas of recipes. Like I knew that it was X and Y and the quantities changed and it was a taste and adjust. It was a taste and adjust until it was right and we're good. When we left Cleveland and moved down to Bowling Green, Kentucky, we decided to start 2 businesses. One was BT Leigh Sauces and Rubs, and the other one was Man-Made Creative, which is our like creative agency because I'm in tech and she's a designer. And I, at that point, realized that I had to nail down all of the recipes to the gram. We started doing all the research necessary to do this thing the hard way or the right way, depending on your viewpoint of it. So like Better Process Control School, all the FDA certifications, registering with the FDA for various products, making sure it's replicable, sourcing things that are replicable versus just whatever I can whisk together and heat up. And because the goal wasn't always. The goal when we originally got down there was we were just going to meet people at the farmer's market. It was just going to be a Saturday. Hi, how's it going? We're new in town, and find a community. That quickly went away and turned into a business after we won our first couple awards, and then everything just kicked off from there. Something sauce came about because it's familiar and unfamiliar. So it is a Kansas City style sauce, but it also hits St. Louis and Memphis at the same time. It's got like a very large regionality. And so we had people that were like from Kansas City that were like, yeah, that's Kansas City. And you got people from Memphis, it feels like home. And someone was like, it's got that something. And I was like, there's the name. And we just stuck with that.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. How did you feel? Did you feel vulnerable putting it into people's hands? What are they going to think? Did you rack your brain out or when it first released?
No, I am born with the confidence of like 30 men when I'm ready to do it. The internal struggle versus the external struggle is a stark difference. And I've really got this ability to just shut down the internal. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to be good. And I was like, it's good. I like it. I like it a lot. I did it for me. And then people were like, I like this a lot. This is really good. And I was like, see, told you. And that's the way it works. Sometimes, and this is all going to sound so egotistical, and I don't mean it this way in any capacity. I've been called a flavor savant. I get it right. I get it right really fast. Like some people might take 100 iterations to get their sauce done. I did 4. Like some of my deepest sauces are like 7 iterations before I'm like, I can't touch this anymore. It's done. And then that's that. And it works. It works so well. I got this great knack of putting together all the different notes to make the note, the chord.
It's good. You got a gift for it. All right, let's move on to the Clevelander, which is more than a sauce. It's a love letter. How did you translate city into a flavor?
So I grew up in the northeast section of Cleveland, Ohio, northeastern Ohio. I grew up in Maple Country. The town that I grew up in was next to a town that was like called Pancake, USA. Like they actually had at one point the idea to turn their water tower into a big floating stack of pancakes. Got shot down. Kind of hope it wouldn't, but it did. They had like Sugar Shack in the middle of town, and they would do all the stuff. And we had the Maple Festival, so Maple was definitely in the works. Period. Like it's in the blood at that point. My brother from another mother is Italian, so I grew up with his family. We would always help in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. So like prosciutto wrapped chicken breasts that are covered in majoram and rosemary and all these fun herbs that people use but they don't like really utilize was there. And I'm in Cleveland. So Cleveland is notorious for its mustard. Stadium mustard is fantastic. If you've ever been to a Browns game or an Indians game or in a stadium anywhere in Cleveland, Guardians game, anywhere in Cleveland, it's that mustard will change your life. So that Dusseldorf style mustard ruled everything around us. So I just put it all together, that with a bunch of green chilies. I was really into Hatch green chilies at the time, and that kind of kicked it all off. It's the Clevelander.
All right. When you started winning awards, did it validate your instincts or did it raise the bar for everything else you create? Now, since you was up here with that, you were like, man, I really got to do my thing.
It's hard not to feel like you're chasing the top again. That's a hard thing. I do find that if I'm chasing the success of, say, the Clevelander, I will never reach it. So I try not to. I just try and make something good. And arguably that turns into, it might turn niche. It might turn, I don't think I have a single product that hasn't earned an award except for our salts. And then we just release those. We're perennial annual placers in some contests. And it's because the execution is high and the quality is high. The content is familiar and unfamiliar. Over the years, it's turned into solve a problem, not get it out of my head. Because I realize that there's a lot of stuff in my head that's got to come out. That's the seasonal blends that I do was an answer to that. We bought a cement mixer and I was like, I'm just going to do some bonkers stuff. And that's where strawberry honey Dijon comes in. And we're just now releasing our spring blend, which is a lemon pepper, Asian inspired lemon pepper take. So you got gochujaro, Szechuan peppercorns, all these amazing flavors, but you still got that lemon pepper in the background. And I can't, for my own sanity, I can't let the top of the mountain always be the goal, because you never know what's going to hit. You never know what's going to hit. If you're always Barry Bondsing it, you're never going to get on first base. Yeah. I don't know. That was a long and winding answer to say no.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to Tony Gwynn it. Get on base.
Yeah. Just got to get on base. Just got to get on base.
All right. So you made a very intentional decision early on, all natural, gluten-free, and vegan friendly. Why was that a non-negotiable?
Friends and family. Got a lot of vegan friends, a lot of celiac friends and family. I don't think that food should be exclusionary. It shouldn't be exclusive. Good food should be available to everybody. And if I'm having a barbecue and I smoke some tofu or some seitan alongside the pulled pork, and someone makes a comment about it, I'm just gonna tell them like it is. Just because you eat pork doesn't mean someone else does. And they should still have the ability to enjoy the time together. And that's all it's about. Lifestyle choices are lifestyle choices. Sometimes they're not choices, though, and that's the thing. Like, we have such a large celiac community that relies on us to produce these amazing flavors. It's nice. It's nice, and we like doing that.
Yeah, because a lot of people, it makes them feel included as far as, all right, it got something for me where they don't have to sit around and feel left out because everybody enjoying themselves, licking their fingers, and they can't eat nothing because of
Yeah,
you
exactly.
didn't think about them.
Exactly. And as I get older, I find more and more things affect me negatively. Like, recently, I found out that beef is off the table for me. And pork, actually. So I need to go get tested for alpha gal. I haven't figured it out yet if that's what it is. Maybe I get bit by a tick, but that changes the game. So if I'm not doing ribs anymore, but I still need to do stuff for ribs, it's the same thing. It's just inversed, right?
Yeah.
So cook for everybody.
Yeah, because a lot of meals are based on your blood type, and with my blood type, I'm not supposed to eat meat, but I was like, ain't no way in the world I'm good.
Yeah. And it's hard nowadays. Like, the moment I figured out that pork was messing with me, oh my goodness, that was hard. I swear my mother-in-law about had an aneurysm when she's, what do you mean you can't have sausage gravy? Can't have sausage gravy. What do you mean you can't have biscuits made with lard? Can't have biscuits made with lard. It really narrows the scope, but in that narrowing of that scope, it makes it fun. It turns into a challenge in a way. What can I cook? What is good here? And like, right now, we're so into beans. It's ridiculous how much beans we're eating at this point.
Yeah, you definitely turned to MacGyver trying to figure out something to
eat. Yeah.
But I'm never giving up bacon. I don't care what nobody say.
Man, that's the hard one. Bacon. And you know what really hit me hardest out of that is hot dogs. Like, a good hot dog is really hard to not pass up, or sausages in general, but yes, turkey dogs work.
It's not the same as a Nathan
It's
hot
not
dog.
the same. Not the same as a Nathan hot dog or a Doug burger or any of those. Like, you can fool your head a little bit. But
yeah, my wife don't eat beef or pork, and so most of the time we eating chicken or turkey products. So I'm like,
I don't think turkey bacon's real bacon. No matter how much I can't, I'll die on that hill. You can call it turkey strips, and that'd be great. Perfect. Yeah. Same with duck bacon. Fine. Just don't call it.
Turkeys don't have bacon. No. All right, let's talk about get into the season. So you said you came up with the name or something. What made you continue on with all the rest of the products using that term?
Again, it's just a kind of a challenge at this point. Like in the beginning, we're like, we'll release something for rubbing because you rub it on the meats and it works. It's punny. I'm a punny
Mm-hmm.
guy. Something to cry about, spicy. So yeah, that works too. And then it turned into a game for us and for our fans to come up with different iterations of things. And so, like, my wife came up with something to cluck about. So that's her citrus herb blend that was in there. The next one, something to beef about, was named by our fans on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day, we ran a contest and we chose the best name out of all of them. And that guy got 2 pounds of the rub before it even released, like that kind of thing. Next one was something to talk about. Someone came to me with the name Taco Bout, and I was like, I don't want to make a taco seasoning, but I guess I have to now. You had to do it because you had this thing in front of you that was perfect. Something to deal with, something for everything. It literally goes on everything. That's
Well,
why
while
we
we're
like doing
talking
that.
about it, you can go through each one and tell a little bit about it as well as give it a name. So while we're doing that,
Yeah, sure, sure. Something for rubbing is my sweet and savory barbecue blend. It's once you start using it, you don't go back, right? There are barbecue stores in the States that where something for rubbing actually outsells some of the larger brands out of Fort Worth that I'm not going to name and various things like that because the owner evangelized us and they've tried it. And once they tried it, they were like, that's it. This is it. This is where we're going. Barbecue, that's barbecue. Something to cry about is sweet, salty, smoky, savory.
mm-hmm.
5 to 10 seconds in, you get the first wave of heat in the form of chipotle and cayenne. And then 15 to 45 seconds later, you get Carolina Reaper. Super sneaky. One bone on a rack of ribs is not going to be super spicy. About 3 minutes later, it'll get there. But the moment you get to 5 bones on that rack of ribs, it's getting hot. And we, for lack of better words, engineered it so you always get the flavor profile in every bite you take. So it's always sweet, salty, smoky, savory, and then the heat just keeps voluming up. Something to cluck about was answer to Thanksgiving. So we like to call it Thanksgiving in a bottle. So sage, thyme, rosemary, majoram, summer savory, chervil, which is a fun one. And then this is nutmeg. There's orange peel, lemon peel, juniper berries. Like it's great. It tastes like stuffing, straight up. We just sell the living shit out of it
Mm-hmm.
during October, November. Beef was how I like to do steaks, right? So everyone out there's salt, pepper, garlic. That's all I use. I just use salt and pepper on beef, but there are things that make it beefier. So we use like porcini mushrooms in that, and there's Aleppo chilies for a bit of a bite. And you got apple cider vinegar powder, so it tenderizes the meat while it's doing it, and you get that little tang on the background. And you still have the onions and the garlic and the thyme and the oregano and all that jazz, but it will consistently make an amazing steak. Also, French fries, great fry seasoning. What's next? Taco. Like I said, someone came to me with something to talk about. So I was like, how am I going to make a taco seasoning that can stand up to everyone's conceptions of what taco seasoning is? Because everyone's buying like the Ortega packets or the cheap stuff that is salt, corn flour, spices. So I set out to make a taco seasoning that was classic American taco night meets the Gatemouth region of Louisiana and Texas in central Mexico. So you've got authentic, like Oaxacan flavor in there, dark cocoa, achiote, cinnamon. There's a touch of cinnamon in it to give it that depth of flavor on it. And we've got like sassafras and thyme to bring it into like the Creole sense. And then you got like the cumin, onion, garlic, all those. And I use my own chili powder blend because chili powder is just it's an abstract term. You never know what's in it. But I can tell you exactly what's in mine. Guajillo, ancho, chipotle, New Mexican lumbre chilies. Dill, something to dill with came about because we wanted an answer to seafood. And this blend it's a zesty dill seasoning. So we've got dill, we've got lemongrass, there's horseradish in it, there's a touch of bird's eye chili, there's a apple cider vinegar again on the background of it. It makes amazing seafood. It makes amazing chicken wings. It makes amazing pasta salad. It makes amazing ranch dressing. And I keep saying amazing because it's not a pickle seasoning. Everyone's, oh, it tastes like pickles. No, there's a lot going on in this. Yeah. Something for everything is a salt, pepper, garlic blend with a lot of Eastern European, Northern Mediterranean flavor. So you've got fennel, you've got, drawing a blank, salt, pepper, garlic, fennel, caraway, celery seed. There's a lot of that. No chilies, no herbs. Mustard, brown mustard powder gives it a lot of that back end, like a lot of base in this, a lot of low end flavor. Yeah, it's not just a salt, pepper, garlic blend though. It literally will go on everything under the sun. So that's my main line. My seasonals are for the Portland, Tennessee Strawberry Festival. I needed a strawberry item. So I came up with a strawberry honey Dijon blend. It is summer in a bottle, something for summer. Fantastic on any form of chicken, pork, root vegetables. Some people do shrimp with it. It's that summer salad in a bottle. And then from there, we did something for autumn, which is fall in a bottle, warm apple bourbon. Touch of caraway, touch of chipotle on the back end. So if you take a spoonful of it, it's like you're drinking a shot of Evan Williams apple. Pork, all the things that you could do with fall flavors and foods like butternut squash, sweet potato casserole. We did French toast with it, and that was killer. Multiple coffee shops run it to make bourbon crunch lattes and apple crisp lattes, that kind of thing. We had, for winter, we originally had a cocoa espresso chili blend, but we pulled that because we found that it actually sold more in the summer than it does in the winter. People were using it for steaks. So eventually that will come out too if we ever get a name for it, because that's the bottleneck. The name is the bottleneck. And so if y'all know a name for a cocoa espresso chili rub that's something to for about, holler at me. But the new one is cranberry orange brandy. So that's just killer Christmas flavors. We did snickerdoodles with it, and they're just delicious. And then the something for spring is our Asian inspired lemon pepper. It's like a kitchen sink Asian rub. You could figure out a cuisine from it. If you want to do pad thai, cool. If you want to do gogi, cool. Just you figure it out from there. Okay. That's the blends.
All right. So I could throw out a name. We say since it got chili powder, say something to chill with, maybe.
Something to chill with. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's I don't know. Let me just pull up a notepad document right now.
Something to chill with. So it got chili. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, we started doing finishing salts recently. So we're calling it something to finish with, and then we're just doing the different permutations of it, and it's all falling under that same umbrella. We're also looking at something to start with will be like chili mixes and Memphis pot roast or Mississippi pot roast, that kind of stuff. There's so many places to go right now that you get paralysis. What you can do.
Yeah. Can you give some advice for those wanting to get into the making of their own sauces and rubs, the product side as well as the business side that they may not see?
Yeah, buy a food scale. Learn the grams of your recipe, and buy a pH meter so you don't kill anybody. Those are my two biggest things with it. Otherwise, buckle up because it is the hardest category in food. I firmly believe that barbecue sauces is the hardest category in food. Everyone's got this perception that sauce is cheap. Sauce is absolutely not cheap. Some sauce is cheap. When it's 80% high fructose corn syrup, they can bottom dollar that and you can buy it for $1.59. But when there is no bad ingredients in it whatsoever, and you end up in that ultra premium category. It's always been a very interesting paradox to me how you can take all of this time and effort on this piece of meat that costs you hundreds of dollars to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you serve a $2.59 bottle of sauce with it to just weird, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's putting low octane in your Ferrari. Why would you do that? Don't do that. Go artisanal. If you're spending all the time, go artisanal. You don't have to live and die by the sauce, but someone might like it. Same thing with the rubs on it. Why would you treat your $130 brisket with something that's going to cause it to taste metallic-y, other than the fact that you don't know that it tastes metallic-y because that's all you've ever used? Get the clean flavors. Do the
Yeah.
stuff.
That makes a whole lot of sense. A lot of people don't think about that. They spend all this
No.
money on the meat and then throw cheap rub and sauces on it, and it downgrades the quality of what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't. It just does not. It doesn't jive with me. I can't put two and two together there.
So when someone opens your sauce and rub at home, what do you hope it adds to their recipe?
Enjoyment. Just enjoyment. Love your life. Live your life. We're only here for a little while, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like someone said, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Hopefully, you're here for a long time and a good time. Make the most of it. And I'm not gonna ick anyone's yum, of course. So if you really love the lower quality stuff that's more prevalent, I said it, Sweet Baby Ray's. If you really love Sweet Baby Ray's, go for it. Knock yourself out. Just realize that there are other people out there that are taking care and passion in what they're doing, just the same amount of care and passion that you put into what you're doing.
Yeah, it's definitely true. And I'm glad they're starting to ease into Walmart, starting to ease some of the smaller brands on the shelves and stuff like that, give them a
Mm-hmm.
chance. So it's good. But
Yeah.
as well as there's a lot of cheap ones out there, and a lot of people just throwing stuff out just to put stuff out. Let's move on to the Great American Recipe TV show.
Mm.
First of all, how did you learn how to cook and do the recipe? Did you just experiment, or you just cooking
Oh
at
yeah.
home, or how did that come
Well,
about?
my family we bridged the gap between like farmers and convenience cooks at the same time. Like my mom, she was one of 10 that grew up on a farm. They did everything from scratch, but she was also raised in like the convenience generation. Like she remembers when the microwave was released. Ooh, the microwave, like that kind of stuff. TV dinners, cool, but we never made Kraft macaroni and cheese. We made macaroni and cheese from scratch every time. Like she would take the time on that. So that was instilled on me that we cooked. So it was never the Marie Callender pot pies. It was always, hey, we're going to make a pot pie. And then they made a big pot pie. We always had a garden, so we always had fresh vegetables. I can't even tell you the number of like beans I've picked in my life and blanched off. It's just that kind of all instilled that in me going forward. So I was never afraid to cook. And I was never afraid to just go off script, so to speak. Like some people need the recipe and they need to follow it exactly because they can't see the road ahead or shortcuts or anything like that. But I just always could. So I always did.
Yeah, that's that person to the T. But as far as how did you get approached as far as being on the TV show?
They called me. I thought it was a scam at first because it just out of nowhere, I got an email saying, hey, we're casting for this TV show. Would you like to be a part of it? And I was like, okay. So I looked at the link, didn't look malicious. It pulled in the whole tech background. I was like, okay, am I going to sell my information if I click this link? And then I was just like, well, screw it. So I did it. And they were like, do a video of you talking. And that ended up going nowhere. That was in 2019. And I can only imagine that they found me at that point from Instagram and various other social platforms. And then pandemic happened. And I remember it was April 2021, maybe. I don't know. Time is a human construct to me. I'm never going to get it. Time's not, I can't drop years. Somewhere during the pandemic, I got a phone call from a producer, and they're like, "Hey, you still interested in this?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And then the snowball effect happened, and I was doing interviews with executive producers and like the kitchen people. And they're like, "Okay, I'm going to watch you cook a recipe. You've got an hour. We're going to podcast or not podcast it. We're going to Zoom call this whole thing, and people are going to look back, and then we'll let you know." And then I got another one where I had to sit with an interview with the EVP, the guy that became my handler at the show. And we sat there for 3.5 hours talking on Zoom.
Ooh.
And normally we only go about 45 minutes. So it just happened like that. And then they're like, "Okay, we'll let you know." And then we had to make all of our recipes ahead of time, right? So they were like, "Okay, you need to give me 45, I think it was 45 recipes that we could cook on the show conceptually." And then they weaned that down. They're like, "Okay, so now we need 27, of your best," and you submit them, and then you end up knowing the brief for the show. I'm telling you how the sausage is made here. Knowing the brief for the show before it even airs, and you're going in with your book of these recipes that you're going to do. And the premise, this was the first season of the show, it was real cowboy. They didn't know what they were doing. They were figuring it out along the way. And we had the blessing, actually, of all of us being holed up in the same hotel in Virginia, all the cast members, and we just had free reign as long as we didn't leave the hotel. So we're all just hanging out at the pool, we're at the bar, we're watching football together. And this is all during pandemic. We're COVID tested every morning and that kind of thing. And it was like, I think it was like a week before we even started filming. So we had time to just gel it up. It was great. It was great. It might have been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but also maybe the most rewarding. I don't know. There's something about putting your heart and soul out there and then being told you got to go. So
How many episodes did you wind up doing?
4. Yeah, I was on 4 episodes. Spoiler alert, I get cut on the 4th episode, which is funny because it was my surprise wedding macaroni and cheese that did it. They didn't like it or something to that effect, or wasn't as good as whatever else was out there.
I mean, you got to do something most folks didn't get to do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Here's the fun part about that is I knew when that episode was going to air, and I knew I was doing a cooking demo for PBS at Stark State University in Northeast Ohio, and I was like, I'm going to do the macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna do the macaroni and cheese right before it airs. So I did this big cooking demo. Everyone got a plate of this macaroni and cheese. They're like, "This is the best macaroni and cheese we've ever had." And it ends up getting written up in a paper. And I'm just sitting there with a bowl of macaroni and cheese on the cover of the story and all that stuff. And then the episode drops and I get cut off the island with that recipe. So I was like, damage control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. From a farmer's market in Bowling Green, Kentucky to 60 plus international awards. When you look back at your journey, what's been the highest high that you experienced so far?
I got hugged by a lady at a festival and she told me that I changed her life. That was pretty cool. That was the Clevelander. The Clevelander gets hugs. I get hugs. The Clevelander also won first place gold medal at the Worldwide Mustard Championship. That was pretty cool. As I was feeling like drudgy at that point. It didn't, like, it was like, I needed some validation, and that just dropped from the sky miraculously. But that was a good one. I really very much enjoy interacting with people and them finding joy in what I do. That's the biggest dopamine hit of this whole thing. Creating is great, but when you have someone tell you that they've stripped their cabinet of every other spice blend and it's a BT Lee's spice blend cabinet, it's a BT Lee's household all of a sudden, because we've got something that fits everything, something for everyone. It's a good feeling. And also that parlays into the fans trusting me with any of the off the wall ideas I get, and they'll buy in and they'll try it. And a lot of the times they love it. They're ready. They're primed. They're primed to expand that flavor sense. And I love that. I love that. And we pick those people up every week. Try to pick those people up every week.
Yeah. You got some good flavors, so it's different also. It's not the same what you usually see on every shelf. So you got a good selection that people can try, and it's something like you say, something for everything. You got a spice for everything.
We try for sure.
Okay, go ahead.
We're about to release a line of spicy finishing salts. See problem, solve problem. Right. So we find a lot of the time when we're interacting with people, one part of the family is super spicy, and the other part is not, and they wish that they could spice up whatever it is. So we've decided that we're going to do that. We're gonna give them the option of going spicy with their food if they want, and it's just their bottle. All the kids can have their normal stuff, or actually some of those kids are scary out there now. Reaper does not phase some of these 10-year-olds, and I don't even know where that's going to go. Like that does shake me sometimes at a base level, thinking that these 10-year-olds can take at the time, the world's hottest pepper in stride. Like, where are they going to be in 20 years?
I'm a mild person, so
that's fair. That's fair.
I think I have it. All right. So, who are some of your role models in the sauce and seasoning business that you look up to? Anybody?
I have friends. I don't know if I try. I try not to mimic anybody. I like to walk my own path. But Ian, friend of mine. Turtle from TD's Brew and Barbecue, friend of mine. Good folks. Yeah. Homero from Harmacy Hot Sauce is an amazing creator. He's someone you should hook up with eventually. You want a good conversation. That guy's got it. Other than that, I am one of those people that believes that everyone puts their pants on, man. People do amazing things all the time. All the time. And you can be amazed by them all the time. But they are still humans in that point. And I'm no different than them.
That's true. That's true. Big advocate for that, because I like everybody, you can be up one day and down the next day. So don't turn your nose out or not want to help nobody, because you'll be looking for help one day when you least expect it. So don't ever turn down or look down at nobody like that.
Absolutely. And also to expand on that a little bit, what I'm doing, what Ray's doing, we don't necessarily have peers in that space. Like the all natural, which is just a buzzword, everyone can say that, but the whole ingredient, gluten-free, not allergy sensitivities, there's not many like real makers as far as I know, except for these small guys that are really doing it. You're seeing a lot of like larger companies jumping on that and co-opting a lot of the terms for food as medicine, that kind of thing. And yeah, there's not really a lot of people that are trying to keep it clean and flavorful.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's fine. I don't mind if people use MSG or anything like that. I know it's a salt. Like, I'm never going to come down on somebody for using something that makes it good. It's not our crowd.
Yeah. I just talked to somebody a couple days ago, interviewed him. I don't know if you heard of him before, but his name is Chef Blackwell Smith, and I guess his company called the Lucky Cajun, where he does his own seasonings at home and he makes them fresh and sends them out. But like he's one of those also to do the fresh ingredients and stuff like that. It's like there's only few of y'all left doing that because a lot of people just go to mass producing and it takes the life out of what they're doing and what they started out with.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
Yeah. So it's like, are you in it? You're in it for money, but you're also for quality and getting a good product and people enjoy instead of just I'm in it for the money. So I'm gonna sell it to this company and y'all do what y'all do as long as I get my money. And the product sitting on the shelf is bad from where they started from to where they're at now, and they don't care no more.
Yep, correct. And there's a lot of companies that are, like you said, making their way into Walmart. But in order to do that, they got to cut and they got to refactor, and they're not the same. It's not the same because they will say we need to hit a price point, and if you don't hit that price point, we're not going to carry you. So you'll have the shrinkflation thing will occur. Normal size is 8.4 ounces, right? 8.4 ounce bottle, and all of a sudden you're seeing it like 5.4 ounces, and they're selling that for $7.99. Yeah, there's a reason why, because they can't get it to the right price point, the normal stuff.
Oh wow!
Until they're making 1 million pounds of it, and then they can.
So that's so. All right. That's all the questions I have. I'm gonna play a quick game with you and get you out of here. Like college basketball, they have a tournament bracket. I did a tournament bracket of 16 meats that you cook on the grill, and I'm gonna just list them out. You just tell me which one that you prefer to eat, and we'll see which one is the winner.
Okay.
All right. First matchup is lamb versus brisket.
Brisket. That's a hard one though, because I love lamb, but I think it's brisket.
All right. Next matchup is smoked ham versus sausage.
Sausage.
Okay. Next matchup is smoked turkey versus beef ribs.
Unpopular opinion here, but I'm going to go with turkey.
Okay.
I feel like smoked turkey is like the epitome of the way that bird should be cooked.
Okay. Barbecue shrimp versus hamburger.
Barbecue shrimp.
Okay. Pork chop versus smoked chicken.
Probably pork chop.
All right.
I think.
Smoked bologna versus pork ribs.
Pork ribs.
All right. Hot dog versus pork belly.
Pork belly.
Okay. Steak versus burnt ends.
Now, why you gotta do that? Why you gotta do that? That should be like the end question. Steak.
All right. And next round, brisket versus sausage.
Brisket.
All right. Turkey versus barbecue shrimp.
Turkey.
Okay. Pork chop versus pork ribs.
Pork.
Okay. And pork belly versus steak.
Pork belly.
Okay. Final four, brisket versus turkey.
Turkey.
All right.
That took a while. There was an argument I was going through with myself right there.
All right, pork ribs versus pork belly. Yeah, pork belly.
Pork belly, for sure.
All right. And the final is turkey versus pork belly.
That's going to be pork belly. It's really hard to beat a good candied pork belly.
Yeah. All right. Are you a sports fan?
Yeah.
All right. I got another tournament. Just top 16 athletes of all time. I do this as a sports thing. All right. Matchup number one, Michael Phelps versus Simone Biles.
Simone Biles.
Okay. And Muhammad Ali versus Lionel Messi.
Lee.
Okay. Tom Brady versus Roger Federer.
Brady.
Okay. Barry Bonds versus LeBron James.
LeBron.
Okay. Usain Bolt versus Tiger Woods.
Oh, that's a hard one. Tiger.
Okay. Kobe Bryant versus Cristiano Ronaldo.
think I would go Kobe.
Okay. Wayne Gretzky versus Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Oh, Gretzky, for sure.
Okay. Michael Jordan versus Serena Williams.
Jordan.
All right. Next round, Simone Biles versus Ali.
Biles.
Okay. Tom Brady versus LeBron.
The criteria here is athlete?
Yes.
Or just
well,
like 6th round draft pick versus hometown guy. I think I got to go with LeBron on that.
Okay.
It's hard.
Tiger Woods versus Kobe Bryant.
Tiger.
All right. Gretzky versus Jordan.
Jordan is the obvious kind of answer, but Gretzky really that's a hard one to put up. I'd probably go Jordan.
All right.
I remember those runs.
Yeah.
But I also remember Gretzky's runs. So
all right. Biles versus LeBron.
LeBron.
All right. Tiger versus Jordan.
They're the same. They're the same. They're the same. We're gonna go with Jordan. This is gonna turn into a LeBron versus Jordan argument.
There you go. I got to tell everybody, there's only one right answer, but it's just funny.
Yeah.
LeBron versus Jordan.
Oh man. I think that the argument is always that Jordan is better than LeBron. And I think on some levels he absolutely is. I also think that if you put them in the exact same place at the exact same time, I think LeBron would edge him out in physicality.
Right, yeah.
Like, as an athlete, I think he edges him out. As a cut your throat competitor, Jordan does every time. So I'm going to say Jordan, because that mental game is like half the game. And no matter, so when the 30 for 30 comes out about LeBron, there's not going to be anyone saying, and then I said that about Jordan and then he took it personally. That's never going to be a thing. But we all know the stories, and then I took it personally, and he did.
Maybe the way I see it is if LeBron was back then and he's going up against Karl Malone and Rick Mahorn and Charles Oakley and Charles Barkley and all them, I think it would be a different story versus now, because the players ain't built like they were back then, but that's just me. It's a whole different animal.
I think you're right to a degree, but you have to put him in the place and the time. So you're taking like nowadays LeBron, who was fostered in that environment of fouling and stuff like that. He's not getting mugged on the court. Into the time when he gets mugged in the court, then that's a valid argument. But if you take the player and he grows up in the time when the mugging is going to happen, he's going to be a mugger too, except he's going to be like a 6'6", 240-pound mugger or whatever he is at this point. But then nutrition's also different too. So there's too many variables. Too many variables.
You know? Workout regimens are different. You're spending $1 million working out. So
100%.
Jordan cigars every day.
Got a yoga instructor on staff, and you got massages 3 times a day nowadays. And before it was just like, we're going out.
All right. Your therapy session is over. If you want to promote your website or anything else, you can definitely do that at this time.
Sure. You can find me at btlees.com, btleihs.com. You can also just search for BT Lees on Google, and I'll come up. Matter of fact, you search for, stuffed jalapenos, smoked stuffed jalapenos. I think I'm first on the internet for that. So holler at me. You want some flavor? You don't want to feel like crap afterwards? I got you.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to definitely check out, because we just had tacos Friday, and I was like, using the little packets, and I was like,
man, I'm going to tell you right now, my taco seasoning is is one of the sleepers of my brand. Like, people come back. They come back solely for that. I just had someone recently send me a message saying, hey, when's your large version of taco coming back? Because we need it for the quarter. They go through 3 of them or 1 of them every 3 months. We're talking the kilo restaurant sizes. You hit Taco Tuesday every Tuesday, that only takes a tablespoon per pound of ground instead of the quarter cup. So it flavors it. It does great. I just released a black bean recipe with it that's really doing work in our house right now. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. I definitely appreciate you coming on, sharing your story and your products, and just helping people out there with everything that you said. So I definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you too. This has
Oh,
been
no
fun.
problem. Yeah, it definitely. I try to make it different from other podcasts and ask the follow up question and find out so we can find out more about the person and not just the generic stuff
Yeah. Yeah.
about the person and let them tell their story instead of just, oh, so what's going on? And without having actual questions for the person.
That's nice. Being led to the narrative versus where's it going to go?
Exactly. They're like, why did you ask that?
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I try to do it differently. I shift it and do it my way.
Yeah. No, that's great because then everything is a comparison. You have a baseline and then you can grow it from there. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I didn't think I would be. I don't know where this going, but I'm gonna keep rolling with it until
Hmm.
we see. So
You got
everybody,
to ride the rocket. Done.
until ESPN call and or
There you go.
Netflix or somebody call.
There you go. There you go.
Mhm.
Goals, squad goals. American Barbecue Showdown host.
Hey, that's what I'm trying to do. Honestly, host some things
Yeah.
and just get out there and do something different from just sitting in here all the time and trying to
Hmm.
work on doing a mobile thing at comps and different places that have barbecue stuff.
Yeah. Oh, those comps are like a whole nother ball game
Oh yeah.
too. We get asked quite often, oh, do you do competitions? I say, no, I do not. I had a friend whose parents were really big golfers and they sunk all their money into going on golf trips and stuff like that. They ended up selling all their golf equipment and going into the competition barbecue scene. And they spend more money doing that than they do golfing across the country every weekend. Like it's a ridiculous amount of spend
Oh yeah.
to get it right, you
Yeah.
know?
Have you ever entered your sauces and rubs in American Royal sauce and rub
Hmm.
contest?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we top 10 American Royal for vinegar. I think it was vinegar. I do have a friend that does KCBS competition, Cotton Barbecue, and he rolls my stuff every once in a while. So if there's a sauce category, he'll just enter one of mine. And we recently came in third, I think, at Murfreesboro. I think it
Mhm.
was Murfreesboro. Maybe I'm not for sure on that. There's no barbecue team that's using a single thing out there, so he'll pepper me in places. So I'm grateful for that.
Okay.
But
Definitely.
that's an alchemy that I can't do. I can't do it. I also don't want that thing ruined for me because so much flavor has to be shoved into that single bite. Like I sponsored the KCBS competition here in Bowling Green a couple times, and I got to taste the winning brisket, and I'm
Mhm.
like, this is not what I couldn't eat a plate of this. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. It was so like right there, and then the ribs were like 3 bites. I was like, I think I'm done. I don't. It's like eating 2 Snickers bars together. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's different beast. Different beast.
It definitely is.
Everybody that's out there, hey, can I taste it? I was like, I don't know if you want to. Like, just know it's good, but it's not the ribs you're looking for.
Yeah, it's true. The only thing I think that's world class is the chicken because the best piece of
Hmm.
chicken I had in my life was from
Hmm.
a competition cook. 'Cause one of the classes I went to. So I was like,
Chicken's a hard one to nail. Nailing that skin is difficult. It's also a huge process. Taking the skin off, scraping the skin, making sure everything's perfect width to crisp up nicely and not get super soggy with the glaze and bite through and
make it
yeah,
like a perfect rectangle and
perfect rectangle, perfect little parcel package. All the little tips and tricks. Like I like to study that. I will never do that. I will never do that. Not at all.
Yeah, it's a whole different animal. And those
Yeah,
going around, if you don't take it seriously, you're gonna be wasting thousands of dollars every competition.
yeah, absolutely. You come in loaded for bear on that and serious. Although that's also interesting because every single one of those I've ever had the pleasure of being ancillary to, being around, they all turn into parties. Like it all seems to be like someone's bringing a bottle of tequila, and because they're smoking through the night and they're going to do it one way or another. We had I set up my booth for sales at the KCBS competition here, and because it was open to the public, and it was so funny to me how many of the competitors came up to me and said, "You've got some big balls setting up a barbecue sauce and rub company at a KCBS competition." And I said, "Have you tried it yet?" And they're like, "No." And then they'll end up walking away with a bottle or two. We had a KCBS master judge come up, and he tried everything, didn't give any indication whether he liked it or not, said thank you, walked away, came back 30 minutes later with every single other judge. Every other judge came and he's tried that one and that one. And they all walked with those 3 products. And then he said, you could never do KCBS with your stuff. It's not there. Not that it's not there, but it's not that flavor profile. There's too much going on. It's just not sweet for sweet's sake. That's what it feels
But
like.
you thinking of the bigger picture, there are more people in the backyard versus
100%.
person.
100%.
Competition.
Absolutely. I'm sure I could come up with something that was geared solely for competition. I'm sure I could. If I bent my brain to it, I'm sure I could crush out something that maybe will compete with Blues Hog. I don't know. But I'd give them a run for their money on it. But that's just not my interest. It's not what I want to do. Weekend warriors and soccer moms.
Exactly.
That's the area that we're at.
Okay, more people cook in the house than outside.
Yeah.
All right, but definitely appreciate your time and sharing it with me. But on that note, everybody, we'll see you next episode. All right. Thank you. I built something onto my podcast that every barbecue brand should be a part of. It's called the BBQ Therapy Smoke Showdown Bracket. 16 meats you cook on the grill go head to head, and every guest picks their winner. It's one of the most engaging parts of the show. Every guest plays, and every listener loves it because no 2 brackets are the same. Now I'm opening it up for a presenting sponsor, meaning your brand becomes part of the segment every single show. This isn't just an ad, this becomes part of the show. And if you're interested, reach out to Tavis Bryant at bbqtherapypodcast@gmail.com. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for another therapy session. And remember, like, follow, and subscribe to help the barbecue therapy community. And also visit our website at www.bbqtherapypodcast.com.